sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so get this. We're diving into a story about Kat Dennings.
Oh.
You know, from like Two Broke Girls and Thor.
Okay, yeah.
It all starts with this Entertainment Weekly article about her appearance on The View.
Oh, interesting.
She was talking about her new husband, the musician Andrew W.K.
Right.
And she dropped this quote from Whoopi Goldberg that had like everyone dying laughing.
It's wild.
I'm intrigued. What's the quote?
Well, hold on. We got to get the people some context first.
Yeah, enough.
So Kat Dennings is on The View, you know, promoting her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the conversation turns to her recent marriage.
Makes sense.
And Dennings, being, you know, super funny,
Yeah.
starts talking about how she wasn't exactly thrilled about the whole marriage thing at first.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the way she describes it is just hilarious. She's like this super independent woman, right?
Totally.
And she's talking about like this dread of having someone constantly in her house.
It's such a relatable fear, though, right? Even if you're not a celebrity. Totally. And that's what makes it so funny coming from her.
For sure.
But here's the kicker.
What?
This whole fear of having someone in her house,
Yeah.
it was inspired by a Whoopi Goldberg quote.
Whoopi Goldberg. Seriously.
I know, right? Talk about unexpected influences.
What did Whoopi say?
Back in 2016,
Okay.
Goldberg straight up said, I don't want somebody in my house.
Uh-huh.
Apparently that resonated with Dennings.
Interesting.
But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Dennings goes on to say that meeting Andrew W.K. like totally changed her mind about the whole thing.
Wow, so she did a complete 180.
Totally.
What made her change her mind, do you think?
Well, she doesn't really go into specifics in the article. But she says something like, and now I like him in my house. I want him in my house.
That is quite the shift.
It really is, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's more than just a cute celebrity story.
I agree.
It shows you how finding the right person can, like, literally change your whole outlook on life.
It makes you think.
For sure. Like, have you ever felt that strongly about something?
Uh-huh.
Only to have your mind completely changed by, like, a person or an experience.
I think we've all been there at some point.
Absolutely. But hold on, because there's another little twist in this story.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. The article mentions Joy Behar giving Dennings some, shall we say, interesting advice.
Joy Behar always has something to say.
So apparently Dennings read like a ton of books last year.
Okay.
And Behar, being Behar, suggests she listened to audiobooks during, you know, intimate moments to maximize her reading time.
Wow.
Even Whoopi chimed in, suggesting audiobooks in general.
Well, at least she's promoting reading.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious, the whole thing.
It really is.
But it also makes you think about, you know,
about what?
Balancing your own passions with being in a relationship.
That's a good point, actually.
Like, is there a connection there?
It's worth exploring, for sure.
So we've got Kat Dennings quoting Whoopi Goldberg on marriage. A complete change of heart and a slightly eyebrow-raising suggestion about audiobooks.
It's a lot to process.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, though.
There's more.
We're just getting started with this deep dive.
I can't wait to see where this goes.
Stick with us, folks. We've got a lot more to uncover about this whole story.
This is going to be good.
You know, it's wild how this whole story kind of makes you rethink things.
I know what you mean. Like, Dennings' experience really shows how powerful it can be to find a partner who challenges you.
Like, pushes you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she had this idea about marriage, right? And Whoopi's quotes seem to back that up. But then Andrew W.K. enters the picture.
And boom, everything changes.
Yeah, it's like something about him, his energy or personality, maybe even just him being in her life, made her totally rethink what a relationship could be.
Like, he disrupted all her ideas about marriage.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like, sometimes we get so stuck in our ways.
We build our own walls.
Exactly. We cling to our beliefs so tightly that we miss out on chances to grow and experience something really amazing.
And that's not just about romantic relationships either.
Absolutely. It applies to everything. Careers, friendships, even our own personal beliefs.
It's about being open to new things, recognizing that change, even though it can be scary, can also be like the best thing ever.
It reminds me of that George Bernard Shaw quote, "Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything."
So true.
And Dennings is like a perfect example of that, the power of being flexible and questioning what you think you know.
Okay, so can we talk about the audiobook thing for a sec?
Oh, yeah. Joy Behar's advice.
It's hilarious, but is there something more to it?
Maybe she's onto something.
Like about keeping your own identity and passions alive in a relationship.
I think so. The suggestion itself might be a joke, but it highlights how important it is to have your own space even when you're committed to someone.
It's about respecting each other's needs and realizing that a good relationship isn't about becoming one person.
Right. It's about two people choosing to share their lives while also nurturing their own interests.
So maybe Behar was dropping some serious relationship wisdom.
In her own way, totally. It's fascinating how this random moment on The View sparks all these deeper conversations.
About growth compatibility, the whole shebang.
Like, we stumbled onto hidden wisdom in the most unexpected place.
Daytime TV.
It all comes back to Dennings' story, reminding us that life is full of surprises and the best lessons can come from anywhere.
It's a good reminder to be open to new things and challenge our own ideas because you never know what you might find.
But we can't forget the humor in all of this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dennings, Behar's advice, even Goldberg's delivery, it all keeps things light.
Which is so important.
Humor helps us let our guard down and be open to new ideas.
Totally. So what's the big takeaway for our listeners? What can they learn from all this?
I think it's this: embrace the unknown. Don't be afraid to challenge what you think you know and laugh along the way.
Great advice. But I think there's even more to unpack here, especially about what it really means to have someone in your house.
You're right. That's a big one, and we'll dig into that as we wrap up this deep dive.
Okay, so we've talked about Dennings changing her mind and how the right person can really shift your perspective. But that Whoopi Goldberg quote, "I don't want somebody in my house," it keeps coming back to me. It's funny, right? But it also makes you think.
Yeah, there's definitely more to it than just a funny line.
Yeah.
On the surface, it seems simple, maybe even a little harsh.
Right.
But I think it touches on a fear a lot of people have, even if they don't say it out loud.
It's about boundaries, right? Like losing your independence in a relationship.
Exactly. It's like this instinct to protect your space, your sense of self.
Totally. And it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Not at all. It's about knowing what you need and being okay with saying it out loud.
Like some people need a lot of personal space, physically and emotionally.
Right. For others, it might be something different altogether.
So how do you balance that need for independence with wanting connection and intimacy?
That's the interesting part of Dennings' story. She went from dreading someone in her house to wanting Andrew W.K. there.
A total 180.
It shows how important compatibility is, finding someone who adds to your life without taking away your sense of self.
Someone who respects your boundaries but also makes your life better.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot between being your own person and sharing your life with someone.
Which isn't always easy.
Nope. It takes communication, compromise, and really understanding yourself and your partner.
Dennings and Andrew W.K., they clearly found that balance, even if it started with some hesitation.
And maybe that hesitation, that fear of having someone in her house, made it even more meaningful when she finally let go of it.
Like absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Maybe Dennings needed to feel that fear, that potential loss of space, to fully appreciate having someone who really got her, someone who made sharing her life a good thing, not a burden.
So wrapping up, I think the big takeaway is don't be afraid to really look at your beliefs, even the ones that seem super basic.
It's about understanding that our needs and wants can change and that growth can come from unexpected places.
Who knew a celebrity story could teach us so much about relationships and growing as a person?
Right. And don't forget the humor. It's what makes this whole thing so fun and relatable.
It reminds us not to take ourselves too seriously.
Exactly. Life is full of surprises and weird twists and turns.
The key is to approach it all with curiosity, an open mind, and of course, a good sense of humor.
Couldn't have said better myself.
So listeners, as you go about your day, remember Kat Dennings, Whoopi Goldberg, and the surprising wisdom of daytime TV.
Challenge your assumptions, embrace the unknown, and don't forget to laugh along the way. You never know what amazing things you might discover.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Kat Dennings' unexpected marriage wisdom. Be sure to check out our upcoming projects and, of course, tune into The View for more unpredictable moments of brilliance. Until next time.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all.